Hey guys, Desolator Magic back with another great video. In fact, this is an amazing video, not just a great video, although it's not remotely surprising. Hey, guess what? A whole bunch of cards were leaked again from the new set, and by new set I mean Shadows over Innistrad. That is so ridiculously far away people haven't even heard of the set. That's how early they're leaked. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody leaks some cards from Eldritch Moon. By the way, Eldritch Moon is confirmed to be the name of the second set in the block that they're, I guess, just calling the Shadows over Innistrad block or the Innistrad block, or I forgot what they named it. Doesn't matter. Who cares what the block is called? But Eldritch Moon, yeah, coming out in July, I believe. But for now, April 8th is the release date for Shadows over Innistrad. So let's break down what is important. Well, it's a 297 card set, not exactly secret, not exactly unknown information. In fact, Eldritch Moon has 205 cards in it, just in case you were wondering. That's usually not kept a very good secret. Like I said, release date is April 8th, which is exactly 2 months from today, so quite a while. I mean, I'm still working on Oath of the Gatewatch. That just came out. I mean, come on, jeez. Anyway, the worst announcement from the new cards that were leaked, I guess you could say, is that flip cards are back, and there's 24 of them. So everybody's probably most hated card printing style, I guess you would say. I can't just say it's the most annoying thing in Magic. That would be probably Infect Counters or Mill, or there's a lot ahead of it. But flip cards, yeah, get ready to buy either lots of cards, like 8 of every card, or just use those crappy modified like token things. Those are back too, so yippee skippy. The next big announcement is the mechanic called Delirium. You get a bonus based on whether, well, you either get the bonus or you don't, and it's based on the condition of whether there are 4 or more types of cards in your graveyard. So it's kind of like a little miniature Tarmogoyf, sort of. I mean, I can't really think of any other comparison, but oh boy, I guess Wizards just went to their user base and took a little customer survey and said, what do you guys want? And then they had a room full of idiots tell them, I think we need some mechanics and some properties on creatures that aren't reliable that we can't control. That's what we need in the game. That'll make me put a card in the deck. So Delirium, utter, complete garbage. The new mechanic, number 2, is Skulk. This already was a thing, they just gave it a name, which is what they've been doing a lot of lately, actually, like Menace. Menace was always a thing, they just gave it a name. So now instead of spelling it out, they gave it a name and then spelled it out anyway. So Skulk means that this creature cannot be blocked by creatures with greater power than it. So those are really annoying. They really disrupt Modern. There's quite a few of them in use like that. They were really annoying in the last couple sets. People didn't use them so much in the last couple sets, but I think they will because, you know, there's just a couple of them. I think there's like 2, and they're actually phrased technically a little bit differently. But yeah, that'll be nice. I mean, it's kind of like unblockable, but it's not completely unblockable because it can't print like a 4/2 unblockable for 3. So Skulk is going to make it a little bit more reasonable. Now you could just triple block with smaller guys. So, you know, tokens might be big, they might be a good defense. Otherwise, you might get a guy who's very likely to hit, and you don't have to just get a wall of 8 defenders and 8 attackers, and you're both sitting there staring at each other because nobody wants to swing. So the next mechanic is Madness. This is actually an old mechanic that was invented at least in 2002, sometime around there. If you discard this card, then cast it at that time for its madness cost instead of its normal cost. It's typically quite a bit lower. Like if it would cost 3, it costs 1, or they change it to generic or something like that. So that's kind of cool, but it's so unusually situational. And then because you don't want to cast like a board wipe for 2 mana, usually the madness cost tends to be the cost that's reasonable for what the card does power-wise, and then the actual casting cost makes it just outrageous. So I'm going to assume that there's probably a way that you could target yourself to discard a card, but then you have to pay the mana for the discard, and then you probably have to be playing black, and I don't think there's going to be like a delve function, but that works with cards in your hand, and if it did, do you really not need those cards in your hand? I mean, so it's another just crap mechanic. So Delirium, Skulk, and Madness, I'm not excited about any of them. And then we've got the 4th one that we know about now, and usually there only are about 4 mechanics. Investigate. It's usually on an instant, it looks like, as far as we know. Hard to, you know, draw a real conclusion when you can't see more than one card, but put a colorless clue artifact token onto the battlefield with pay 2, and that's pay 2 generic, not pay 2 colorless. sacrifice this artifact and then draw a card. So it's kind of like clue stones that don't generate any mana, and even those weren't like that popular at the time, so it's pretty much another crap mechanic. So they're going real conservative and just letting the creatures do what they do and letting the set do what they do without having some fancy, just crazy mechanic that's like super powerful, you know, like something that would like triple the attack power of a creature or something, and then everybody would be playing that mechanic. So I think the decision to go with really, really subtle, very optional, very secondary abilities was actually kind of smart. I don't like them because they look weak and unreliable, but I like them because they're weak and unreliable and not overpowered. So I love it, I hate it, and I can't wait to see the set. So hopefully you guys will stay tuned for any more information about Eldritch Moon or Shadows over Innistrad as it comes out. Speaking of that, I'd like to talk about leaks for one brief minute here. I used to work in a graphics facility, and I will tell you right now, it's a lot of square feet. They have no reason to have like cameras everywhere, like armed guards or like casino pit bosses in the ceiling, or, you know, it's not in the budget. They've got to print these as low as possible. Their major expense is ink, paper, and labor. So the lower they can get that, the better. So they might like to pretend over at Wizards that a giant leak cost them millions in lost sales. I don't even get where they're beginning to get the logic for that. But they claim that leaks cost them just so much, I don't know, monetary losses of some sort, I guess. I don't know. That's what they say. So if that was true, they would put the millions of dollars they lost into better security, but they don't. They never do. Now, I've never been to or seen pictures of their printing facility, but like I said, I used to work at a printing facility, and if we wanted to hawk something, it wouldn't be that hard. I'm just saying, you know, slip something in your pocket, the manager's not watching. It is boring as hell. It is repetitive, and everybody hates their job and hates their life. So it's not a great place to work. I wouldn't recommend working at a graphics facility. So assuming that this is something very similar, it's just people sitting around feeding a hopper and watching the same thing go past over and over and over. But on that topic, I don't care how dumb the workers are. I mean, we all had that book memorized, the one that we were printing. So we were printing this, I think it was like a SpongeBob book or something like that. And then we were adhering something to the front cover. I could tell you word for word what the front of that cover said, what the back of it said. I mean, I was the one working the hopper. I could just about have the whole book memorized after about 4 hours, let alone 4 weeks. So why they don't just have somebody sort of silently, passively memorizing all the cards, writing them down on lunch break, or writing them down when they get to their car, writing them down when they get home, and just release the full set? I don't know. I can't figure out why that doesn't happen. It's really not that hard. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to, you know, memorize, 297 cards, when really you're seeing them over and over and over all day. It's all you're seeing. It's all you're mentally processing. I mean, it's not exactly hard. But this time around, allegedly, somebody, I guess, at the printing facility or at some kind of storage facility, or somebody who had access to the sealed product that's already apparently sealed and done printing right now, which is shocking because as far as I knew, that wasn't quite the case yet. They got their hands on one single booster because it's not that hard to fit something like that in your pocket. I mean, it's kind of crinkly and loud, but I mean, you don't exactly have to be a ninja or a professional like cat burglar. So they, I guess, were like shopping it around, or somebody hired them to do it or something like that. But anyway, the person who leaked these said that they bought the booster pack, just one sealed booster, off of this person. So there's nothing to stop them, if they don't get caught, from stealing it in the future, from, stealing another one, because maybe they'd pay them another amount. And as far as I can tell, it was just some random douchebag who has some like overrated channels on, I don't know, Twitch or something. I didn't look into it. He looked like a complete, utter douchebag. And since his personal information is not that hard to get, and obviously he's partially responsible for the leak, if not almost exclusively responsible, he might as well just go to like Google Maps and recommend that they edit in a big arrow above his house that says, "Wizards sue Hare, please sue this person." This guy is going to get destroyed in court. I mean, he thought he was being all clever, saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna pay somebody to steal a booster. I'm gonna, I heard about a stolen booster. I'm gonna buy it off him." If he thinks there's gonna be no consequences for this guy is an idiot. And based on listening to some of the streams on his website, yes, he is an idiot. He is a stuck-up douchebag with, like, no followers and just no reason to watch him talk to himself. He just seemed like the kind of, you know, like fame-grabbing pile of crap that would do something like this. Now, I'm not against leaks. I mean, I have to put in my order for cards before I know what's in the set, and I think that's a load of crap. I don't like Wizards in general as a company, and I don't like the way they do things. I don't like the slow release of cards either, and I don't like them making like a big pat themselves on the back event at some big, you know, geeky convention type thing where they release like one card and make it look like they're giving away like I don't know, an Emmy or something. You know, they make way too much out of it. I mean, nobody takes Magic that seriously except for them taking themselves that seriously, and it's really, really annoying and aggravating. So it's hard to not like fail to feel bad when something like this happens, but I still think people who are like doing something that they know is against corporate policy, they know is going to mess with people who like not having information ahead of time. You know, I don't want to have to study these cards when I'm still focusing on OGW. I don't want to have to learn all these new mechanics and think about the future of the game. And then now whenever I build a deck, I'm going to think, oh, well, does that go with the cards I already know about from Shadows? I mean, it's going to be in the back of my head now. I can't unsee these cards. So I actually find it a little bit annoying, even though there is some benefit to it, because if, you know, like they leaked all the mythics last time, okay, now I know if it's a good set or a bad set. Unfortunately, I was mostly wrong. It's pretty much a bad set with OGW, but, well, what can you do? I kind of just feel like they should either just somebody leak the entire set so that I can get a good handle on it and know if I'm going to order it or not, so that Wizards can stop making me sit in the dark on this completely and just order blind, which is completely unfair. It doesn't hold them accountable at all for printing crap sets that nobody wants, because I'm going to order the same amount if I don't know what I'm ordering. So that whole thing is just completely aggravating. But if it was a really bad set and everybody cut their order numbers in half because of it, Wizards would be in deep financial trouble. So I know why they did it, but it's horribly dishonest. And then watching them sit there and blame everybody and ban people and, you know, threaten to sue people for pretend losses just because somebody leaks it ahead of time, I think that's a little much. So I'm kind of on both sides of this. I just find the whole situation aggravating, and I wish they just wouldn't have leaked it. I mean, it's either all or nothing. I don't want to see some, and I don't want to see just one rare, and I don't want to just see the mechanics. I want to see the whole dang set, you know, because that's what would help me out from a vendor standpoint. And even from a player standpoint, it would help you guys out. But let's say somebody did tomorrow leak every single card. You know, you'd be thinking about deck ideas that you can't even build yet, and then you'd have whole decks in your head. You'd already have the pros posting theoretical decks, and you'd have like people on, you know, Xmage and a couple other sites, a little bit looser, I should say, looser software suites, where you can, you know, write in your own cards maybe. You could start demo playing them and stuff, and people would have an unfair advantage on time. So there's a lot of negatives to the leaks as well. So I don't realistically hope that somebody leaks the entire set, unless it's just to me personally. Just kidding. Don't do that. If you have the whole set, don't. I don't even want to be liable for that. I don't want to deal with the Wizards lawyers. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I love to hear what you guys think about the leak, because I've heard very few opinions. Everybody at my LGS is just like, oh, they leaked it. That's cool. I got to see some cards, whatever. I don't feel strongly one way or another. But this is the internet, where everybody feels strongly one way or another about everything. So feel free to tell me down in the comment section what you think about this leak and leaks in general, whether it was deserved, what you think of Wizards, and what you think it has, you know, what effect it has on the game, what you think of the douchebags that stole the booster and then put it up online with a plug to his own really crappily made website. Of course, I just have to say, you know, Wizards really, if they're gonna make a big deal about this and act like it's the end of the world with leaks and leaks and leaks, do something about it. Do something to secure your cards. If you gotta start patting down people checking pockets or having, like, you know, pocketless jumpsuits. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff people do at more secure locations than the Wizards printing facility, like in, you know, biomedical areas, and like you work at the Mint. If you work at the Mint making US dollars, oh, they check your pockets on the way out. Trust me. Yeah. Watch a documentary about that. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to just take basic security steps to stop stuff like this from happening. Now, I don't know the circumstances of how this got stolen, but based on the fact that it keeps happening over and over and over again, Wizards obviously does not take card security very seriously at all. Well, regardless of what happens, I'll continue to update you guys on any new information about Shadows or Eldritch Moon as it comes out. And, well, hopefully this is the last we see of leaks for a while at least, so I don't have to stress over it, read it, investigate it, and cover it. And I will see you guys next video.